what it is without each and every one of you. And the irony of it is we started an award. I started an award last year, and it's called the Richard Carpenter Excellence in Tax Award. And there's a lot of people that are here today that are new to this event and wondering, what is this Richard Carpenter Excellence in Tax Award? And yeah, who is this Richard Carpenter, this gentleman standing right next to me? Richard Carpenter, I mean, I could talk for hours about it. I'll give you just a 2-second version. Richard Carpenter was my mentor. He was a mentor to many people. He is a legend in the tax community. He is a professor at the University of San Diego for the last 30 years. He has taught me everything I know as a tax attorney. And when I had this opportunity to create an institute, I thought it was only fitting for me to create an award in his name, an award that would carry on forever so that everybody could live his legacy. But we did it while he was alive versus usually you do these awards when you're not alive, because I wanted him to witness witness the effects that he has on individuals and to show everybody how dear he is, not only to my heart, but to so many people. So last year he was our inaugural winner because the award was created in his name. And this year we actually have our first winner. And who's our first winner? His name is Stephen Toscher. And for any of you who are not in the tax community, if you're not in the tax community, you may not know who he is, but if you are in the tax community, you would know that he is hands down one of the best tax attorneys in the country. I met Steve about 5 years ago. I went to a conference up in LA. It was the UCLA Tax Controversy Institute. And I met him there and Chuck Rettig, who's going to be our IRS commissioner. And I met him and I used to watch him speak at that institute. And I watched him speak at many institutes year after year, all these years. And then I decided to start my institute, the USD Law, RJS Law Tax Controversy Institute. And I gave Steve a call. And Steve has been so willing to help this institute grow. Last year, he put 2 panels together and filled it. He has been so selfless in helping us get this institute that's going to help the University of San Diego School of Law become something. And he's also a graduate of this school. So it is truly fitting that our first award is going to go to Stephen Toscher. Here's a few words about Stephen. He's a certified specialist in tax law. He's an adjunct professor at USC. He graduated #1 of his law school class at USD, one of the best attorneys coming from this tax program. He's a super lawyer. Oh, and he also represents Michael Jackson. He's Michael Jackson's lawyer as well. He's tried dozens of cases in tax court. He's authored articles in tax management and other publications. He previously worked as a trial attorney in the Department of Justice. He was a former revenue agent. He's published hundreds of articles. He's got not guilty verdicts on cases where there were no chances of winning. I could go on and on and on about, about Stephen Toscher. It is my absolute pleasure and an honor for me to share our first award, the Richard Carpenter Excellence in Tax Award, to Stephen Toscher. Come on up.
I have to say the obligatory words, although Ronnie, you did a really good job. You know, this is very meaningful to me to be honored in Richard's name. Okay. Can somebody get me a beer? No. Anyway, it's really meaningful because I know what a great lawyer that Richard is, what he does for the tax community. It's truly a great honor. But even more so, it's part of the USD, University of San Diego School of Law family. You know, I have my wife here, just made it here just on time. The Uber got her here. You know, I wouldn't be here, all these nice things, all these things that I have achieved, because Marcy was always there for me, raising our children, complaining that I wasn't there enough. I was there enough, I will tell you. But here is sort of the really sweet thing. Marcy and I met here, not on this, at USD. We were both law students about 40 years ago. I know you're saying, what was he, 8 years old? You know? She was 8 years old, so that was a little, you know, problematic. But, you know, we are all a product of our families, our communities. When I came to USD, you know, 40 years ago when you came to law school, the first thing on your mind was whether you were going to flunk out or not. And that was truly on my mind, whether I would ever make it. So, Ronnie, thank you. Debbie, Dean is back in London having a good time. But it's really an honor to be back here at USD. That, you know, without the help that USD gave me and my family, I could not be there. Now, this is the point where I'm supposed to give some words of wisdom. I really, Ronnie said it all talking about me, but so I'd rather hear him. But let me just say, because I had to think of something. I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell, and I don't know if you guys listen to his podcast. He's a writer who always sort of looks at things a little differently, and that's important. We may not always agree with him, but he always comes up with something interesting which sort of catches my attention. So the most recent one I listened to this week, he was talking about rules of life. You know, people write books, I have 12 rules of life, what this or that. He goes, I only have one rule of life: pull the goalie, okay? Now, I didn't know what that meant, okay? So I'm going, what is he talking about? So pull the goalie means, it's an ice hockey expression. When you're down, you're allowed to pull your goalie and make him an offensive player to make that score. It is a ballsy move. It's a risky move because you have nobody defending your goal. So I was giving it some thought, and I think, you know, the crowd would want to know, when do you pull the goalie? When do you make that move? Well, nobody knows when to make that move, okay? It's not clear. But the question is, in life and in law, in the practice we are in tax controversy, how many times, and you guys all do it, we really don't have a good solution. You need to think out of the box, and maybe, in football parlance, maybe it's a Hail Mary. So we're all very conservative. So, and I say, next time you're in a box, in your life or in a case, think of pulling the goalie, okay? Thank you very much. I'm honored by all of you being here.
And now we are blessed to have a keynote speaker. Let me just grab my notes. Oops. Oh, here it is. No, I don't have it. I am so sorry. Give me a second. I don't have my notes. Let me grab it one second.
After the next glass of wine. I think it's darker.